Hello, everyone, and welcome. Oh, bloody, that was voice cracking a half. But hello, everyone. Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world, and welcome back to another post-match show, match preview. Of course, we're already looking past this game, as you can clearly tell in my mind. Anyway, but yes, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the match preview for Brighton v Liverpool. Are we looking forward to it, chat? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Because again, are we looking forward to Liverpool games at the present moment in time? Absolutely not. I think that's the best way of putting things at the moment, anyway. But let me know, guys, how you lot are feeling, and just how are you all feeling about the Brighton game? Because for me, I'm very nervous for this game, and in particular, what Brighton going to do to Liverpool. Anyway, but of course, we'll be speaking and having a look at Brighton anyway, like we normally do as well. Excuse me. We are going to be taking a look at Jurgen Klopp's comments as well from the press conference as well. Of course, we will have an injury update, of course, on Darwin Núñez as well. And of course, we'll be speaking about squad selection and so forth as well. So if you guys want, let me know your start 11 predictions in the comment section down below as well. Of course, we'll be getting to mine in a little bit as well. Anyway, but we'll take a look then and dive straight into it then, into the head-to-heads like we always do at the start of a match preview show. Of course, Liverpool v Brighton. And when I was actually looking at this as well, it's actually shocking the fact that Liverpool have only won once out of the last 5 appearances against Brighton, home and away. Again, and that was when Liverpool were playing good, let alone this Liverpool side anyway. But as you can see, last time out in the league, of course, on the 1st of October, of course, that 3-3 draw that realistically Brighton should have won. They were 2-0 up. We then came back and won 3. Was winning 3-2, and then of course it was that last minute winner, I believe, as well. And of course, Liverpool winning last season away to Brighton, thanks to Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah as well last year. But again, you look at it, 2-2. At the start of that season at Anfield, again, Brighton beating us at Anfield, and then 1-1 then again in the league anyway. So again, Brighton have been a little bit of a bogey team for Liverpool over the last few weeks and months anyway. And I think that's a worrying sign and a worrying step where, when we actually look at it, the fact that you see, the fact that Liverpool have only won once, in the entire, in the last couple of games anyway, at least, for against Liverpool anyway. But we take a quick look up then at the form as well for both teams anyway. Of course, Brighton at the minute doing absolute wonders, aren't they? Realistically, of course, beating Middlesbrough and the FA Cup by 5-1, beating the Ev as well by 4-1, losing to Arsenal, which, to be fair, even that game could have gone either way, depending on different scenarios and so on. Beating Southampton by 3-1, and then somehow losing to Charlton as well in the League Cup by 4-3 anyway. So again, Brighton are a very good goal scoring side as well, which of course with a few very, very good players as well. But we take a quick look at the right as well. You can look at the insight into the game. Ranked 5th in goals scored per match, 1.9 goals scored per 90. They've conceded 6. Will have conceded the most penalties so far this season in terms of 6 as well. Obviously, Trossard. We will mention Trossard's name in a brief moment as well, because of course, if you guys don't know, there has been news in terms of Trossard and that whole debacle and realistically an absolute mess at the minute in terms of Brighton, which of course does link into the video a little bit as well. But if you guys haven't seen the latest news anyway, we'll quickly get it up for you on Twitter anyway. We'll get it for you. There we go. For some reason, I've uploaded the image. I don't know why, but as you can see, hopefully on screen, there we go. As you can see on the right hand side, oh, never mind. There we go. We'll just do it like this anyway. But as you can see, it's the official statement by Trossard's agent as well after Belgium start excluded for the next game, of course, which is against Liverpool as well. The manager humiliated Lissandro in a group. Also, he indicates that a transfer is the best solution as well. Of course, it does go on to, and again, I'll leave the statement there that if you guys want to quickly look at it as well, it does basically go on to mention the fact that again, this seems to be that he won't be signing a new deal for Brighton, and it does seem like there is a move on the cards for Lissandro Trossard as well. So again, potentially, he could be going to a top club. Of course, he is out of a contract in the summer anyway. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts on this as well, because of course it is huge news, just 24 hours out of course, Liverpool v Brighton as well. And if there is any Brighton fans watching or so on, then let me know your thoughts, guys, because it is an interesting one. Of course, I think Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs have been linked with him, and of course, Champions League football is huge for a player and what they're after and so on. I think, look, if there's an option for him to potentially, go to a team, of course, I think Brighton would ask for a transfer fee, a pretty hefty one, I'd say, because they haven't got to get rid of him. Of course, look, he's out of a contract in 6 months, but of course, look, they don't have to get rid of him for another 6 months. But by the looks of things, it doesn't look like there's a good relationship at the moment, anyway, with the new Brighton manager and Trossard. So again, I think obviously a deal will be done, but again, it's who will he go to? And like I mentioned, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Chelsea have been linked and rumored anyway. So let me know your thoughts on that, guys, as well. And let me know your thoughts on Brighton so far this season. Anyway, Zane's in as well, saying hi as well. Hello, Zane. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend, as well. But yeah, for me, I think obviously the main standout, in my personal opinion, is probably, of course, Moises Caicedo. Of course, Liverpool midfielder. I think that's the obvious one when it comes to Liverpool. Of course, we've got McAllister as well, obviously World Cup winner as well. But again, there's so and looking at the league table, if things go the way they look like they could be going for Liverpool tomorrow, Liverpool could end up being 13th by tomorrow evening. So again, it's not good enough. We're in second week of January, and Liverpool are played 17, got 28 points. Again, it's not good, and it doesn't look like it's going to be getting any better anytime soon, which is really depressing when you think about it. And it's just that thing, isn't it, where what's next that could go bad for Liverpool. And of course, we'll mention a few things anyway. That Jurgen's obviously, if you guys saw the press conference earlier on, he did go on a bit of a rant earlier on, did Jurgen. But of course, Jurgen has mentioned a few things anyway in today's press conference that we will speak about in a brief moment anyway. But let me know your thoughts, guys, because for me, I think, look, Brighton, it's going to be a very, very hard game. We saw in that Anfield game how hard it was to break down Brighton. Look, yeah, the game finished 3-3, but realistically, it should have been a lot worse. Brighton could have been 4-0 up, I think, in the first 20 minutes in Anfield. That's how bad it was. And now that they've got this a little bit more attacking style, that wasn't under the new manager. Of course, Graham Potter was more of it was a little bit more threatening going forward. But again, it was when they had to, they would use their attacking players. But I think as well, Liverpool are so easy to play against as well. This could be a bloodbath for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. And then if that does happen, does that then open people's eyes behind the scenes to go, look, we need a help and we need backing in this sense as well. But again, that's another conversation and debate all in itself yet again. Anyway, but Tom's in as well. Hello, Tom. Saying yes, fella. Hello, Tom. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend. Of course, I don't know who you play, Tom, this weekend. To be fair, let me know in the chat. But yeah, I don't know if the EF play because, well, either way, I think if Frank isn't replaced, I think the EF might go down this season. Unfortunately, anyway, because of course we would be missing a derby anyway. But again, it's just this season's been awful. I want it to end so badly. I want it to end because it has been horrific so far this year anyway. But we will move on then to Liverpool, and we will move on to Jurgen Klopp's press conference anyway, and what Jurgen has said in today's press conference. Of course, I do have to take that off, otherwise I'm going to get copyrighted by Liverpool yet again because we have done that a couple of times anyway. But we play Southampton. Oh bloody hell, that's a must. That's a must win for you, Tom. Anyway, but yeah, like I mentioned, we will move on then to what Jurgen Klopp mentioned in the press conference. And of course, yet again, he was asked about transfers and whether or not Liverpool would be bringing in a midfielder in this window anyway. And of course, this is what he did say. According to, well, I say according, what was quoted by Neil Jones anyway, saying Klopp on potential transfers in January. I don't think so. It's just the situation. My job is to use the boys we have. No problem. I like the teams we line up with. You cannot sort all the problems in the transfer window, which of course I think each and every single Liverpool supporter is like, please Jurgen, no, like no, like surely there has to be someone there, and that's the sad reality. I don't think Liverpool will get anyone now in January. I think everything is going to be saved for the summer, unfortunately, and that might be unfortunate news to some people. But unless there's a window of opportunity. Like I think right now, you look at Wolves, for example. Obviously, they signing midfielders left, right, and centre. I think they've already agreed. I think they've agreed to sign 5 midfielders for January and in the summer as well. Of course, Joe Gomez from Flamingo as well. Obviously, a Liverpool linked player. Then, if we want to call it that, but there's so like there's so much rotting. Is that the right word to use? But this actually, to be fair, I should just say something worse. But there's so much wrong with Liverpool's midfield at the moment that there's nothing that can fix it because we don't know what the problem is, and that's the worrying sign. Yes, we need a midfielder, but what do we need? Do we need number 8? Do we need number 6? Do we need more than that? And I think that's a little bit of a worrying sign as well, where we are genuinely questioning ourselves. What do Liverpool need? Do we need a 6? Do we need an 8? Do we need both? Realistically, we need both. But can that happen this window? No, of course it can't. But it's also something I think as well, when Jurgen's constantly getting asked about it, I think he's just fed up of the season and like per on Twitter, seeing Jurgen just downbeat, it's horrible. It's genuinely horrible because he turns negative. I wouldn't say negative questions by the media because again they're doing their jobs and that, but again some of them do ask stupid questions, and he always like twist. Jurgen knows how to twist it into a positive. Didn't feel like that today in the press conference. It really didn't. It felt as all of us feel. We all feel, doom and gloom. Can the season end already? Can something magical happen to save our season, or something like that? And the true answer is no. But it's just a bit frustrating, and just seeing Jurgen deflated and practically not giving up, but just there's nothing there. And it is a concerning sign because we all know Jurgen. Jurgen, gives everything and so on. But again, it's that something there that you can tell that Jurgen is just not there. And it will be like that when you're losing games week in, week out, and you're not performing like we do. Like, look, this time last year, we were talking about, trying to challenge Man City for the title. This year, we're talking about potentially being 13th by the end of the weekend. That's not good enough. And I think everyone knows that. And again, it's whether or not we can actually perform tomorrow at 3 o'clock. That's going to be the interesting thing. Anyway, but of course, I will quickly go back to what Jurgen said, and of course, we did mention as well Darwin Núñez, which of course you guys would have known yesterday. Like I mentioned, I didn't really want to speak too much about Darwin Núñez's injury. Um, too much before we knew. Of course, yesterday the news came out about there being a injury, and that nobody knew the specifics of it. Of course, we kind of guessed that it was a hamstring problem, but nothing was confirmed. But again, Jurgen confirming today anyway, as far as I can get it up as well. Klopp on Nunes hamstring issue. We are waiting for information. It's not a major one, but but it has kept him out of training. Now we've known. No, we know yesterday that he hasn't trained all week, and didn't train today neither. So, in terms of Brighton, I think we can safely say Darwin Núñez is out for Brighton away, which again isn't the best of news, is it? Now Roberto Firmino, that we will mention in a minute as well. You've got Bobby Firmino out, Luis Diaz out, Núñez out, Jota out. It's more names on the list, and again, it's not getting easier week in week out. It's getting worse. Not only have we got this midfielder out and that midfielder out, Virgil van Dijk out. It's now we've got four of our main strikers injured. It's a terrible, terrible situation to be in, and not a fun and pleasant one either, because it's absolutely horrible to be in at the moment. Anyway, but I will quickly bring up as well what Jurgen did say about Bobby Firmino as well, chat as well. Of course, Klopp on Firmino at the start, it was a little injury, 10 days or 2 weeks, but then Bobby felt something again. He's not close to team training, which of course Bobby put a statement out back at the at the New Year, saying look, he was going to be fit and available within 2 weeks, and then of course it looks to be that it is a more serious injury than what the Reds first thought about it and the medical team. And again, it's just a frustrating season where you have to think about it. Are Liverpool cursed in some sense? I'd say yes, because when it rains, it absolutely pours. And for Liverpool, so far this season, and look, we haven't been the number one team in terms of injuries. I think obviously Leicester and I think Chelsea, equal up that record or whatever it is. But when we're talking about main players for Liverpool, it just seems like every single key player is out injured at the moment, and it's not changing. It's not the fact that I've got one like Jota, for example. Jota was back for 2-3 weeks potentially, and then of course got injured in the Man City game. Then for 3 months or whatever it'll be. Now anyway, of course, Jota will hopefully be back at the end of January, February time, but of course will take time to get back into things. Obviously, Arthur Melo is back at the end of January. Luis Diaz at March time, but more realistically will be the end of the season before we see Luis Diaz in a Liverpool shirt again. And now Darwin Núñez. When will Darwin Núñez be back? Excuse me. Now, Jurgen has said that it's not serious, but they said Bobby Firmino wasn't serious neither. Look at how that transpired, and it's never, it's never good when the injury as well. Waiting news on it. Now, of course, it isn't confirmed that Darwin Núñez is out injured for tomorrow, but the likelihood of him, even having a couple of minutes on the pitch is very, very unlikely tomorrow, because of he hasn't trained all week. Supposedly he has not took part in training, but again, that's the position Liverpool are in at the minute. Because again, it's the same lineup week in week out. We're not resting. We're not resting Núñez at all. Of course, we're playing the same front three week in week out. We're playing the same back four more or less. In terms of Trent, Robbo, Ali as well. Playing week in week out, and it just is that frustrating thing, isn't it, chat, at the minute, where again we're talking about Liverpool and injuries, just mounting up. And it's not getting any easier, and it's not getting any better. But Brian says evening as well. Hello, Brian. Hopefully on a fantastic day, my friend. I know you were in Doug's stream as well, and I should have said this at the start of the stream as well. Big up to Doug as well for inviting me on his channel as well. We were speaking about FSG tonight as well, and it was a good little debate on there. And so forth. So if you guys want to go and check that out, if there's any mods, put the video link in the chat down below. Anyway, because of course I don't think there's many people in here tonight anyway. So again, if there is any mods, then again, and if there is anyone that would like to be a mod on the channel, then let me know. Because again, it's I don't hand out mods that much. I think we've got a good collection of mods on the channel potentially. But yeah, if anyone would like to be a mod, then let me know. But Brian says celebrity squares. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we'll take a quick a quick look. I can't get my words out. Yeah, we'll have a quick look then at more things that Jurgen did mention in today's press conference as well. Actually, no, we won't. We'll take a look at David Lynch's tweet as well, practically, summarising what everything has happened in the press conference and saying Roberto Firmino still out for Liverpool's trip to Brighton. James Milner and Stefan Bajcetic are likely to be available. Jurgen Klopp keeping his cards close to his chest on Darwin Núñez, insisting his hamstring injury needs further assessment. So once again, there is an option there, whether or not Darwin Núñez does start for Liverpool tomorrow. But again, I do highly doubt it that he will be be anywhere in contention tomorrow, because again, it's that sense of, if we was to bring him back, we've seen, look at James Milner, I think a couple of seasons ago. He was brought back in straight away, and I think he was out there for about 6 weeks, I think, afterwards. We can't afford to have Darwin Núñez out for 6 weeks. Fair enough, it's not going to be nice not having him there for Brighton, but I'd much rather that than have a Darwin Núñez out for 6 weeks, realistically, when we're having all these crucial and important games. Because next week, we've got Chelsea at home, which is probably... Can anyone have a weird thing for that? I'm just watching the game, to be fair. Sorry, guys. It is 2-0 to Villa, I think, at the minute. But you look at it at the moment, Chelsea and Liverpool are awful, are god-awful. If there's one side worse than Liverpool, it's Chelsea at the moment. And it's ridiculously bad, isn't it, chat? And look, it's just frustration, I think, with Liverpool at the minute. Because, again, like we mentioned, Klopp said that he doesn't think there'll be anyone coming in to the club, and look, things might change. There might be an opportunity there. Like I said, if anyone is just tuning in as well, you look at Wolves, for example. Of course, we can't sign Matheus Nunes now because it's impossible to, because of FIFA rules. We can't, at the end of the day. But when you've got, when you've got players, the domino effect, then I'll call it. It just seems something could happen somewhere. I'm not saying exactly, Wolves, for example, but there's always an opportunity of where something could happen, or someone that we want in the summer might become available for the correct price that Liverpool want to spend, and so on. So never say never, but I'd say at the minute it is just, there's no chance at the minute Liverpool sign anyone. Or no hope, then I would say. I wouldn't say no chance in particular, but no hope of Liverpool signing anyone in that regard. Anyway, but I'll get into your comments then, guys, as well. Let me know your thoughts as well. And let me know your overall thoughts on Brighton as well, because, again, I can see plenty of people are coming in now as well, so thank you very much for tuning in. If you're liking the channel and liking the video, then please hit that like button, guys. It does help out the algorithm as well. But Elskaus is in as well, considering saying I'm expecting a loss tomorrow as well. Also was in a way wanting to lose to show FSG the elephant in the room. However, I can see us winning now just because it's not expected. Yeah, that's the annoying thing. And that's the Liverpool way, isn't it? The fact that, oh, Liverpool should lose tomorrow. Oh yeah, don't. Oh, by the way, we actually win by like 1-0 or 2-1, or something like that. And it's and this is the thing. If Liverpool somehow get top four again, it's the great escape yet again. Right, like if we thought 2021 was amazing in how the way Liverpool somehow got Champions League football, if Liverpool somehow got Champions League football now, it would be a miracle. Because I think even if you look at the supercomputer at the minute, they have Liverpool finishing in fifth. I think on 67 points or something like that at the moment. So again, there's a possibility something might happen, but when you have teams flying high in terms of City and Arsenal are gone, and look, I'm not saying Liverpool anywhere near that, and don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that's two Champions League spots gone. Man United at the minute are doing well, pretty good. So that is looking more or less likely. So then you're looking at that fourth spot, and of course when you've got teams like Brighton, for example, Fulham as well doing fantastically. Um, Fulham, Spurs, Newcastle as well doing really great. It's that annoying thing where you've got all those teams above us, and then you've got us then just performing the way we are. Um, and we're not just talking about a little drop off. Like I think City, in some sense, have dropped off a bit this season, um, because I don't think they are. I don't think they're capitalizing on their squad like they have done in other seasons. Then, but Liverpool have had if we're talking about drop offs, we're talking about a cliff. City a step down. Liverpool cliff. It's an absolute mess at the minute, um, and it's the sense of there's no there's no way Liverpool can just flick a switch and it just completely change. Hopefully it can, and hopefully something can work and it can change. But at the moment, it is just a frustrating game at the minute where we are just looking at Liverpool and going, yeah, there's no way we can see this. Like, for me, tomorrow could be a horrible sighting for Liverpool tomorrow as well. Let me know your thoughts, guys, as well. Good to see Jersey Boy on. I've known him and Doug for years. Oh, that's really good. So I've known Jersey Boy for quite some time as well, and Doug, to be fair. We're definitely getting beaten tomorrow, says Brian. Yeah, potentially. Brighton are going to do us some serious harm. I would agree with it, my friend. Absolutely. Klopp seemed pretty pissed off today. Yeah, he did. And you know what? I don't blame him. I genuinely do not blame him. I hope both Manchester teams draw 0-0. Yeah, I hope that as well. Scouse as well. I think, if anything, like if United win, then Jesus Christ, it's horrific. Um, it's either going to be a draw. I think City are going to win it. I'm not going to lie. Um, I don't want them to win, because I'd like Arsenal to win the league. Don't get me wrong. I'd much rather see Liverpool, be there. But if there is anyone that stops City, then happy days, and stops that football club from winning things. And fair play to them. But it's not even that. Those two games are going to be so huge, um, for Liverpool, for City and Arsenal, and it will be huge. And we think about the Liverpool and City games, how good they are. I think Arsenal and City might even be around the same, in many regards. But again, is can they keep Haaland quiet? I don't think so. Um, But trouble in the Brighton camp, though. Xavier doing the classic new manager thing, by getting rid of big players to show authority. Trossard's agent tweeting. Yeah, we did go through that, Bry, as well. And like I said, I think looking on transfer market, there's Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal. that are being linked to him at the moment. Of course, he's a free agent in the summer, so it would be a pretty cheap deal, I would think. There was rumours, wasn't it? I think last week's in Belgium suggesting that Liverpool had been offered Trossard over the last couple of weeks, and that was like, no, we don't need him. We've got Gakpo now. But again, he was getting linked, wasn't he? A couple of weeks ago. Well, come on, look at Chelsea. No, exactly. Um, and City. To be fair, Chelsea, like I just said, if there's one team that looks worse than Liverpool, it's Chelsea at the moment, anyway. But Justin's in as well. Good seeing you as well, my friend. Liverpool will beat Brighton with ease come tomorrow. You can take that to the bank and cash out. I really hope so, mate. I love the confidence. I do love the confidence, but again, Brighton are a very, very good team. Like I did mention just now, we've won one. We've beaten Brighton once in the last 5 league games. So again, it's not the best of records at the moment. Of course, it is one win each, and of course 3 draws. But either way, it's still not good enough when we look at it. So to be fair, they have been a bogey team for us the last couple of seasons. Klopp just looks a bit flat. 2015, he was bouncing. Last season, he was bouncing. This, like I said, I think this season it's just been the fact that there's been such a massive drop off, and we've had the injury problems as well. It is just 2021 Liverpool, but the problem is there's even more of a gap down somehow in that regard, because it isn't just a centre back crisis like it was that season. It's a midfield crisis that we can't fix. Um, and the bigger problem is it's not the fact that people are injured that meant that like there's not main people out in the midfield, if you get what I mean. It's it's the usuals: Fabinho, Thiago, Jordan Henderson. I was gonna say Naby, but Naby's not been around. Harvey Elliott, that the whole debacle and so on as well. But again, it's whether or not it's finding a balance realistically, and we'll talk about start 11 predictions in a minute. But I think Liverpool just go full on press tomorrow. You have to against the Brighton side. I hope they draw 3-3. I've triple cracked it, Haaland. Bloody hell, Brian. I'd love it if they did it if he did it for you, but again, I wouldn't want to. Um, I wouldn't want to be that realistically. I wouldn't want that to be the end result anyway. But hey, I hate Manchester. We all hate Manchester as well. I've never been to Manchester, funny enough, which is weird. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've nearly been to Manchester, but again, why would you want to go? What else do we have? I'm more statistic. I want City to win the league again, just to show how amazing we were to ever compete over these years. Says Elscoser. Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from there. Um, the only reason why I wouldn't want Arsenal winning the league is purely because of the fans. That is it. That's the only reason why I wouldn't want Arsenal winning the league, because it would be unbearable. They thought we were unbearable when we won the league. Arsenal fans would be outrageously unbearable. Look at it when they wasn't getting top four. Look how toxic that became. And it's even imagine if they bottle the league. And that's the thing. If they win the league, it's amazing for them, and fair enough to them. But it would be absolutely annoying to us if they bottle the league title. Then what will the thing be? Oh, we were facing this great Manchester City team. No, you were what 7 points clear of them. At Christmas was it 7 points, chat? I think I haven't looked at that top of the table for so long. I've bloody just got it out of my mind. Just thought about that fourth spot, man, all season long. But it is that though, chat, isn't it? Is the fact that again, I think it would. I'd like Arsenal to win it, but I can see Scouse Scouser's point there, where he's like, yeah, if City won it, it would go to show, you have to be on top of your game to win a title against this Man City side. And again, Liverpool's still the only team to challenge Arsenal. Not Arsenal, sorry, against City, but Arsenal to win it this season, and fair play to them. I would say anyway. When Klopp came to LFC, he was bouncing, but this season he just looked upset. Maybe this FSG nonsense talk is getting to him sell the club and get the Saudis in. Well, I just think it's everything, though, isn't it? It's the potential sale. It's the fact that Klopp wanted midfielders and hasn't been able to get them. It's this report coming out that Liverpool is supposedly meant to have 250 million pounds, and even the rumor today that the report, I should say, from Christian Falk saying that Liverpool have convinced Jude Bellingham to join Liverpool. It's all now a matter of finance and whether or not Liverpool can afford him. And you're like, if that's the case, and if Liverpool don't get him, then what are we doing? And that's the annoying thing. If the finance is there, and this is, and I don't want to really put this on Jude Bellingham, and that or this point on Jude Bellingham, but if we've done everything we can, and we've got the money, and we've done everything we could possibly can, and he goes, and his family goes, you know what? Thank you very much. We want to go Real Madrid. I would say fair enough. One of the best young players on the planet right now. Fair play to go into Real Madrid. Fair enough. But if for somehow and some reason, if we're not sold and FSG do not back Jurgen Klopp on Jude Bellingham in terms of finance, and we miss out due to that, there will be uproar. Absolutely uproar, and there would be no excuses for it. Absolutely no excuse. It was the fact that FSG didn't want to pay an extra £10 million. I'm sorry, what? If that is the case, no. If he has been the number one target for the last 3 years, and we haven't gone for him, or we haven't gone for any other midfielder because we were so certain that Jude Bellingham is the one, like we was with Virgil van Dijk, then back it. If it's 130, 140 million pounds, you go and back it, no matter what. And that is the be all and end all. I don't care if you're going to be selling the club or not. You have to back Jurgen Klopp in this decision. Even if Jude was it for the summer. I'm joking, of course, because we need a lot more. But again, Jude is a must. And if we don't get him, then there's huge questions then on FSG. Okay, if he picks Real Madrid, then fair enough. I would say that, fair enough. If Liverpool have got the money there, if they've got 130, 40, whatever it is, there for Jude Bellingham, and they're willing to spend it, but he's gone to Real Madrid instead, then fair enough. You can't really argue that point. But if it turns out that, he's gone to Madrid because Liverpool couldn't afford him, then I'm sorry, that's a joke. It's an absolute joke. We were meant to get the Georgia midfielder from Kvaratskhelia. Are you on about that, Scouse? I think I don't think we were ever in for Kvaratskhelia, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I could be wrong with that. Evening, mate. I'm not confident for this game. Hello, Chris. Yeah, I'm not neither, my friend. Don't worry about that. The ball is round. Anything can happen as well. Yeah, absolutely. We need to experiment. We have nothing to lose. Now, I like to see Trent in midfield or as a wing back in a back three with wing backs. Klopp needs to change something, in my opinion. I don't think we can go back three at the minute, especially with no centre halves. Matip, Kanate, Nat Phillips in a back three. Could that happen with Joe Gomez? Could that happen? No, I don't think that could happen. I think you go a bit more narrower. I'm not gonna lie. If Nunes is out now, if Darwin's out, then maybe go a bit narrower. Play a 10. Maybe go back to that 4-4-2 that we were because we were getting. We were getting results with that 4-4-2, with that weird formation that we were playing. Stuff was happening. And we need that to happen again. in retrospect. So again, I'd say personally, chat, go back to that weird 4-4-2, because it worked. We got results. We won games from it. The 4-3-3 I don't think can last. Not the way we're playing at the minute. It needs to go back to 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2. That's the be all and end all. I think anyway, but I don't want Arsenal to win it due to their fan base. That is it. But if they do, Robbie from AFTV will lose viewers and money as he only got them. And we're toxic against Wenger, etc. Yeah, but again, like I said, Chris, if they was to miss out on the league, then again, that toxicity is they. It's potent, isn't it? I feel like all the joy of getting Gakpo has been escaped by the overall issues. I would agree. Elskauser, absolutely. I'd 1,000% agree with you on that, my friend. Don't you worry about that. Where's my camera froze? Is my camera froze? Yeah, it's frozen a little bit. I will be back, chat. There we go. I should be back. We need as much as 300 million to spend before next season. Start to be properly competitive, in my opinion. FSG won't do that without investment. Yeah. I think the most we spent under FSG was what, the summer of 18-19, where we spent 200 million euros, I think it was. It was around what, 180 million. Are we going to do that again? Possibly. But again, the 200, 250 mark, I think, is where Liverpool are at the moment. And again, that's what, Jude Bellingham, Matthias Nunes, and then a 30, 40 million pound midfielder, or maybe two 20 million two 20 million ones potentially. Not really sure with that anyway. But again, the two big purchases would be Matthias Nunes and Jude Bellingham if things go to plan. But again, will things go to plan? We don't know. But a major overhaul needed. Absolutely, I agree with there. Anthony's in as well, saying at least we don't have to deal with Trossard. No, we don't. Absolutely, 100% on that, my friend. We've completely messed up on our transfer planning. Biting us now. Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, all being one would go 4-4-2 with Doak and Salah up front. I'd probably go Gakpo, if I'm being honest. Gary, buying Gakpo was great, but it was weird if we don't do the same in midfield. Yeah, absolutely true as well. Guys, get your midfield, get your midfield predictions in, get your starting 11 predictions in as well, because we will be going through mine in a brief moment anyway. But yeah, absolutely, I would agree with you there, Brian. I said midfield predictions. See, we talk about the midfield so much and the problems of the midfield that is literally what we literally talk about all the time. It's the fact of it's the fact of where we just talk about it all the time at the moment, where it's like, yeah, midfield problems, this problem, yeah, all that's out the window. It's just midfield that we're talking about realistically. Anyway, but yeah, it's not the best at the moment, is it, chat? To be fair, because like I said, after this game, we've got Chelsea at home, I think, unless we've got the FA Cup replay. How have they let us end up with this midfield almost malpractice? Yeah, not the best, is it, at the moment? And that's just midfield corner. We need a centre half to maybe even another player in the right as well. To be fair, I think Christian Falk was mentioning the fact that if we don't get Jude Bellingham, that big sum of money that's supposedly there for Liverpool would be spent on what's his name? Gravadal? Is it Gravadal? Is that his name? I've probably butchered that to an absolute T. That Croatian centre half who plays for Leipzig, supposedly, like they want around, I think it's like 80 or 60. It's between 60 and 80 million euros, I think, for him. And I'm like, we need midfield. We don't need defenders. We do need defenders. Don't get me wrong. That will be a future, plan. But we don't need, I'd say, urgent surgery in defence. It's midfield. that's the number one for me anyway, at the moment. But Ali Gomez, Matip, Ibu, Robbo, Fab, Naby, Thiago, Doak, Mo, and Gakpo as well for Anthony there. So no Trent in there for you, Anthony, as well. I think Trent's been our best player since the World Cup started. Well, since the football started after the World Cup. In my opinion, I think Trent's been our best player. Well, the best out of the bad bunch, then I should say. Like I'm not saying he's been amazing, but he's done a lot better than what he has done. Our January business is done. We all here at the club today. Yeah, it is done, Eamon. As well. Good seeing you as well. But yeah, we're done. Hello, Luke or Ricky. I think it's Ricky as well. But hello, Gavadol. Is that how you say it? Was it? I don't know how you say it. Apologies, chat, if I do. If I've butchered his name. We don't get Bellingham. Watch us get De Jong. I don't want Frankie De Jong. I think he's too lazy. And I don't think everyone knows his best position, if I'm being honest. Look, he is a good midfielder, don't get me wrong. He wouldn't be at Barcelona if that wasn't the case. But I do think that we don't know his best position. Like, is he a 6? Is he an 8? I don't know. But obviously, is it Coop Miners, the guy from Atalanta? That I think through the Opta database or whatever it is, like he's the most likeliest player to Jude Bellingham in terms of statistics and that. And he's 24, and I think he's 24 and could potentially be an option. But I think Liverpool need a marquee signing. A big signing. Obviously, Bellingham would be that. But again, I'd rather sign 2 or 3 midfielders than spend it all money on Bellingham. I would say Bellingham. If we've got the money, obviously, to buy Bellingham and buy another 2 at least, then that's something. But again, we need at least 4. If we're being truthfully honest, we need 4 midfielders in the door. But then you're talking a high. Like I said, we're either talking about buying. Say it's 250 what Liverpool have to work with, or 200. Let's say you spend 130 on Jude, 44 on Matthias Nunes, and then you've got. I've just watched the Leeds goalkeeper do a fly kick at Philip Coutinho. How's that not a red card? Bloody hell, chat. That's an absolute disgrace. But it's that sense of, again, for 200 million, can you get 4 players with a huge signing for 200 million? Probably. If you did all the maths. But what you've got, let's go through again. So Jude Bellingham, max 130, I think, for Jude. It won't be that, I don't think, but I think maximum 130 for Jude Bellingham. Then Matthias Nunes, 44 million. That's already been confirmed in many regards. So, and then if you're going to say, like we mentioned yesterday, Thurman for 26 million, or even a bit less than that, and then have a look at someone else. Again, it could be completely something else, but it got completely different to what I'm saying. But again, I'm not entirely sure. I always sign a Cordell on career mode for a centre back as well. Yeah, I think it's the fact that he's 21 and is really quick. I think that's another sign to it as well. Anyway, but Brian's gone Ali, Trent, Canate, Matip, Robbo, Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, Gakpo, Salah, and Nunes if fit. That would be my starting prediction, but I don't think Nunes is fit. In many regards, sadly. Easy. It's easy. The V is silent. It's the V. The V is silent. So Gavadal. So I'm not going to pronounce it again. I'm going to absolutely butcher it. So again, apologies, chat. It will be better than Lovren anyway. That's guaranteed. Hey, Chris, do not disrespect the greatest defender to ever live. I'm not saying Dejan Lovren's the best defender ever. Before anyone takes that out of context, of course, I am taking the absolute Mickey there as well. But Doug's saying long time no speak. Again, thank you, Doug, for having me on as well. Sorry, I had to shoot off. I think Canate deserves to start. Canate definitely start Oscar, 100%. Hi, Doug. I was telling Connor, I know you from back when you were a young single man with no channel. Times have definitely changed there, of course. Bloody hell, how many times have Leeds give the ball away? I've just watched the Leeds goalkeeper do a fly kick at Philip Coutinho, and didn't get sent off for it. I think that's hilarious. Sorry, meant that midfield that comes on. What's it mean? Oh, yeah, exactly. 100%. With Nunes out, probably Ox on the left again, with Gakpo in the middle, not looking good as well. Well, I will get onto my start line prediction anyway, and then we will shoot off then in a moment anyway. We will get score predictions as well. That is what I think Liverpool will go for. Now, to be honest with you, I was just thinking and thinking of what Jurgen Klopp would do. Now, we haven't seen Carvalho in ages, and I do think he does start this game, which is weird. And I do think he starts in the number 9 position. So I've gone Alisson Becker in goal. I've gone Trent Alexander-Arnold right back, Joel Matip alongside Ibu Konate, and then Robbo at left back. I've gone with a midfield of Fabinho, Thiago, and Naby Keita. And then I've gone as you can see, the front three of Cody Gakpo, Fabio Carvalho, and Mohamed Salah. Again, the only difference I would potentially make for that is probably Ben Doak. Maybe put Mo through the middle, or even put Cody Gakpo through the middle, and then play Gakpo on the left or Mo up top, and then put Doak on the right. We could see that potentially. I don't want Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain playing left wing. It doesn't help the midfield for a start. And again, it's trying to get a balance. And I think if you're going to look for a Bobby Firmino type style player that could play the false 9, if we're going to go down that route while Nunes isn't there, then I think Carvalho is the best person to do it. I'm not going to lie. I think he is the best player to use in that position anyway. And you could even do it a bit more narrower. You could have Carvalho as a 10, and then Gakpo and Mo as a 2 up top potentially. Or we could see that weird 4-4-2 that we have seen over the past couple of weeks and months anyway, before the World Cup did start anyway. But yes, Brian, I am now married to that man as well. Doug is knocking it at the park as well. Yeah, absolutely. Naby, I meant bloody hell as well. Yeah, Naby, absolutely. Again, I'm surprised I said Naby in my start line prediction, to be fair. Yes, Brian kept in touch with him as well. I'm hoping Nunes might be on the bench. If there's any possibility of him playing, of course, he won't start, but he will be on the bench 100% with Anthony as well. Brian said he's a great kid, always had a lot of time for him. Great guitar player too, as well, from Brian there as well. But for me, guys, as well, let me know your score predictions in the comment section down below. For me, I'm gonna go with a 2. I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna go for a 1-1. It's not going to be that, is it? Realistically, I'm going to go 1-1. It's something that I don't want. Again, I've either got 2-1 Liverpool, or because somehow something is saying to me, even though Liverpool should lose, we should draw or something like that, or we're going to win or whatever. But I'm going to go 1-1. Don't like predicting Liverpool, losing or anything like that. But I think a draw away to Brighton might be decent enough as well. 3-1 losses, Brian as well. Napoli 5-1. That's 10. They're 10 points clear now, aren't they? As well of Juventus. That's huge for the title. I think they could go far in the Champions League as well. 3-2 Liverpool win as well. Anthony, my heart will be racing with that as well. 2-1 loss Says Doug, sorry as well. Don't worry, Bry. I think plenty of people, done going 2-1 for us now as well. Says Elskouser, as well. Well, that's some result, Doug, as well. And then A1's even going for a 2-2 draw as well. And then Gary goes for a 2-0. Ben Doak brace. Absolutely love the confidence, but there, Gary, as well. But I'm going to go 1-1 draw anyway for Liverpool v Brighton anyway. But guys, thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's show. I've quickly forgotten to do something again, as I normally do, because I'm an absolute muppet. Can I get that up before we go? Probably. But yeah, if again, if you guys are interested anyway in what we've mentioned in tonight's show altogether, of course we've obviously mentioned the Trossard situation with Brighton, and that whole scenario doesn't look to be good at the moment anyway. And of course, we've spoken about Jurgen Klopp and looking at particularly what Jurgen has mentioned in terms of the transfer situation, and obviously uh, Darwin also being injured as well, and Bobby as well being more out for longer than expected. It does look pretty bad with Bobby. We're being honest as well, and all that. And again, we're hoping for different, a different Liverpool tomorrow. And again, we just want a reaction. I think everyone's like that. We want a reaction. We want Liverpool to be Liverpool again. And hopefully hopefully Jurgen can sort it out. But again, been saying that all season, for God's sake. Yes, Napoli are 10 points clear. Again, I think they will in Serie A now. Would you take Vlahovic from Juventus? Nope, I would not. I agree with Connor. Napoli will go far. Yeah, I think Napoli are trying for knockout football, but again, they're doing brilliantly in Serie A. But I do think that team will get pulled apart next summer, especially Osimhen. I think United will be all over him next season as well. No Anthony as well. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want. Vlahovic at Liverpool. Let's get him in there. I can't talk. Party in Naples, good lord as well. Yeah, that would be absolutely mental as well. Be great though, Nunes and Vlahovic, Mo up top. We don't need strikers. That's the thing. When everyone's back, we just need midfielders at the moment. Don't need striker at that price as well. Yeah. I think Arsenal want him, don't they? Whether or not they can actually get that done, I don't know. Anyway, but again, let us know, guys, your thoughts. Would you like Vlahovic? If you would potentially be on sale. Anyway, but guys, big thank you to each and every single one of you as well. If you have enjoyed the match preview, then thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please feel free to leave a like on the video. I'm going to quickly check how many likes we are on for tonight's episode. We are on 15, so if we can get to 20 somehow as well, that'd be very much appreciated. As always, if you're new around here as well, then please hit that subscribe button as well, because again, we're trying to get to 1,000 for the end of the season. If we can do it, then again, we very much appreciate it as always. Anyway, but of course, we'll have the post-match tomorrow. Hopefully, Liverpool winning a game of football, but again, it does swings and roundabouts whether or not Liverpool win a game or not. Anyway, but again, not confident going into tomorrow. But again, I've gone 1-1, and let me know your guys' thoughts in the chat down below. Anyway, but until tomorrow, I've been Connor from the Cook Council. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ta-ra.